Hello, good morning, everyone. My name is Tiffany. I'm a zoo educator at the St. Louis Zoo, and this is the second webinar of our ASL Animal Alphabet series. So today we're going to be talking about letters J through Q, but we will actually be reviewing A through I also. We will also practice the whole alphabet for those of you who have been practicing and watching from the beginning. We'll play some word games, and then I'm going to teach you another new animal sign. So before we get started, we have some logistics that we need to go over for today. So we have some community standards that are really important that we all follow so we all can have a wonderful time during this webinar. So Connor, my tech person, is sharing this right now. So as you can see, community learning standards. So please be friendly and respectful of others in your interactions in the chat box. Use the question and answer box for relevant and appropriate questions, and use the chat box to respond and interact in regards to the webinar topic. And for the last one is that you understand that if the moderator of the webinar has asked me to alter my behavior in the chat, you might possibly be removed from the webinar. So those are community learning standards. Before we get started, I'm going to have you guys go ahead and go to the chat box and enter where you are zooming in from and how many people are watching with you. I can't wait to see where you guys are zooming in from today. The question and answer box, that is where you can put any questions that you have. We'll have time at the end of today's webinar to answer some of those questions. So again, Connor's going to be helping us throughout today's webinar. He might be pulling up some polls from time to time. You also might see that he's going to be posting in the chat box. Okay, so like I said, this is the second webinar for the ASL series. I originally did another one, so you can watch all the past ones on our website, STLZOOm.org. Oh, awesome. I see people from Kirkwood, Afton, Edwardsville, Granite City, St. Louis, South County. Awesome. Welcome, everybody. I'm excited you're joining me today. So just wanted to remind you that I am not an ASL teacher. I'm an ASL student. So still learning and sharing the things that I have learned with you. So I'll be sharing my screen in a moment and you'll see the different letters and animal pictures. So you're just going to do your best to mimic my hand as we go along. Okay. And also in the chat box, make sure you've clicked all panelists and attendees so that everybody can interact together during today's live webinar. Okay, I'm going to share my screen so we can get started. Okay. So we're going to review A through I because that is what we did last week. Okay, so we have our first one. A is for Armenian Viper. A. B is for Babirusa. B. And yesterday, on the zoo's Facebook, they actually showed a video of Connor, who's our tech person right now, talking about Babirusas. So you should definitely go check that out. Okay, so that was B. Next, we have C for Cinereous Vulture. C. D for Dwarf Mongoose. D. E for Emperor Scorpion. E. F for Fennec Fox. F. G for Grizzly Bear. And remember from our poll last week, their names are Huck and Finley. You can also catch those on our webcam. We have daily webcams that are live from different habitats. So that was G. Next we have H for Harbor Seal. H. And then the last one from last week was I. I was for Ibis. So now we're going to get into our new ones. We're going to talk about J through Q, and I'll go into a little bit more on some of those animals. Okay, our first one is Jaguar. Now for J, it works out good because I was our last letter. We're going to go down and up like we're making the letter J. So J is for Jaguar. And did you guys know that jaguars are actually excellent swimmers? For most of you that have cats at home, I'm assuming they don't like water. Most cats don't like water, but jaguars are excellent swimmers. This is a fun way to tell different big cat spots apart. So I have jaguar, cheetah, and leopard spots that are up. Now, cheetah spots are the easiest because if you look at their spots, it's just black solid spots. So that's cheetah. Now, when it comes to leopard and jaguar, those are a little bit trickier. So the way that I remember is I think their spots kind of look like donuts. And if I look on the leopard spots, it's a plain donut. But if I look on the jaguar spots, they have some dots inside. I like to think of that as the sprinkles on the donut. So if I see some sprinkles on the donut spots, that I know is a jaguar. So remember, we're going to do J one more time. J for jaguar. Excellent. So next we have K, and K is for king penguin, one of the 4 species of penguins we have at the St. Louis Zoo. And I'm going to play this video for you. We'll see if it works. Okay, the video's not working. That's okay. You can see more of our penguin videos on our ZooTube channel. So that was K. Our next one is going to be L, and L is for Lesser Kudu. And those big, beautiful horns are a male Lesser Kudu, which is the logo of the St. Louis Zoo, which is really exciting. L. The next one, M. M is for mountain chicken. Now you can tell in the picture that is definitely not a chicken, it is a frog. In fact, mountain chickens are one of the largest species of frogs. They can weigh up to 2 pounds, and they're native to the rainforest of the Caribbean. So that was M. Now next up for N, N is for naked mole rat. And for naked mole rat, I'm gonna have Connor pull up a poll about their eyesight. So how good is the naked mole rat's eyesight? So you can see your choices. They can only see light and darkness. They have excellent eyesight. They have poor eyesight, or they are blind. So go ahead and make your selection. Give you a few more minutes to decide. Actually, a few more seconds, definitely not minutes. And then we're gonna end the poll and see what everybody thinks. Okay, so I'll give you 5 more seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, let's see. Okay, 50% of you said they are blind, and that is correct. So they actually use their sense of smell to help them find food. Excellent. Okay, so that was N for naked mole rat. Our next one is one of my absolute favorite animals, which is O for Okapi. Now, I love Okapis, and if you look at them, they kind of look like a Dr. Seuss animal. So they kind of have legs that look like a zebra, a body that looks like a horse. They have some big ears that almost look like Mickey Mouse. But when they were discovered by scientists in 1901, they thought they were related to zebras, but they're actually not. These guys are related to giraffes. And since they live in the rainforest, they're often called the forest giraffe. So we have a poll about how long an okapi's tongue is, because just like a giraffe, they have a really long tongue to help them get the leaves from the trees when they're eating. So Connor's gonna pull up our poll, and you can see how long you think an okapi's tongue is. So our options are 4 to 8 inches, 9 to 13 inches, 14 to 18 inches, 19 to 23 inches. Seeing lots of results coming in. Excellent. Okay, we'll give you guys 5 more seconds to make your selection, and then we'll go ahead and end the poll. Okay. Ooh, so it looks like 36% thought 19 to 23 inches, 36% thought 14 to 18 inches, and 28% of you thought 9 to 13 inches. So this one was a little bit tricky. So the correct answer is 14 to 18 inches long. That is a really, really long tongue. And if you've ever seen an okapi at the St. Louis Zoo, you might even notice that sometimes they use that long tongue to even clean their eyes or their ears, because that's how far back it can reach. Okay, so one of my favorite animals, O for okapi. Next up, our next animal is P for Partula snail. Now, Partula snails are actually extinct in the wild, which is really sad, but there's also really good news, and that's that a lot of zoos, like the St. Louis Zoo, are working on conservation efforts and working to breed them more to hopefully re-release them in the future. So that's another reason that zoos are really, really important. We really care about animals and endangered species. So P was for Partula snail. Okay, so before for Q, I had quail, and we do have button quail in our birdhouse, but I thought it'd be kind of interesting to show you something you might not have known about at the St. Louis Zoo. So now Q is for quarantine keeper. So this is a keeper that works behind the scenes, because in a wing of our veterinary hospital, we have quarantine where sick animals are cared for and all the animals that are coming into the St. Louis Zoo. Animals will be in quarantine for at least 30 days to make sure that they don't have any parasites or diseases that could transfer to other animals. So in this picture, you can see Mallory, one of our quarantine keepers, working with some goats. So that's a really neat part of that job, is they get to work with a variety of animal species. Okay, so now I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and we're going to go ahead and review the entire alphabet. So for those of you that are new, there might be, this might be some new ones at the end for you, but that's okay. For those of you who've been watching before, we are going to go ahead and practice the entire alphabet. So everybody ready? We're going to do it together. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. Excellent. Okay, so now we're going to play the word game. So I'm going to spell a few different animal words, and you're going to try your best to figure out what animal I'm spelling. Our first one is going to only have 3 letters, so we're going to start out with an easier one. So I'm going to do it twice, and I'll go slow each time. If you think you know what animal I'm spelling, go ahead and type it into the chat box. So here is our first one. And I'm going to spell that again slowly. So the first letter, second letter, third letter. Excellent. I see a lot of you got it. It is ant. Let's try it together. A, N, T, ant. Excellent, good job. Our next one's gonna have 4 letters. So here we go. I'll spell it again. Okay, so first letter, second letter, third letter, and fourth letter. Okay, good job. I see some of you got it. And if you didn't get it, that's okay. It takes a lot of practice to learn, but it is frog. So let's spell that one together. F-R-O-G, frog. Okay, let's do this again. So our next one is going to have 5 letters. So here we go. Let's see if you can get this one. And I'm going to do this one again. So first letter, second letter, third letter, fourth letter, fifth letter. Good job. I see a lot of you got it. It's hippo. Let's do it together. H-I-P-P-O, hippo. Okay, we have one more word to do on our animal game. It also has 5 letters. So here we go. I'm going to do this one again. So our first letter, second letter, third letter, fourth letter, and our last letter. Excellent. You guys got it. It's snail. Let's try that one together. S-N-A-I-L, snail. Very good. So last week I showed you the sign for bear. So we're going to review that. So for bear, remember you're going to put both your hands like this, kind of make claws, and you're going to go twice like this. So this is bear. So try it with me. Bear. Good job. And I have another one to show you, and this one is my favorite so far. I think it's really fun to do. I'm going to show you the sign for turtle. So what you're going to do, remember how we had A? So put your hand on an A and then turn it like this. Now you're going to take your other hand and put it over the top like it's the shell of the turtle. Now what you want to do is wiggle your thumb because that's representing the turtle's head. So this is the sign for turtle. So go ahead and try it with me if you haven't tried it. Remember, we're going to start like this. We're going to put our hand on top for the shell, and we're going to wiggle the little turtle head. So that's the sign for turtle. So next week on the last one, I'll review bear, turtle, and I'll show you guys a new animal sign. Okay, so real quick, Connor is going to pull up an enjoyment poll, and that's going to let me know if you guys enjoyed today's webinar. So if you can see, and he's pulling that up right now, we really appreciate your feedback a whole lot, and we really enjoy that you guys are interacting with us and that we get to do this from home. It's super, super exciting. Tomorrow, my coworker Angie is going to be doing a really neat story, and it is geared toward pre-K to second. So that'll be the 10 o'clock webinar tomorrow. You should definitely check that out. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and go to our questions and answers. So if you have any questions, make sure to put those in that box because I'm going to try to answer some of your questions the best that I can. Okay. How do you say Charlie? Okay, so let's spell Charlie together. C H A R L I E. That would be Charlie. I did see someone typed in the chat, how long have you been doing ASL? A few months. So I've not been doing ASL that long. My coworkers and I took ASL classes together, and we wanted to be able to communicate better with any of our zoo visitors or students that might be deaf or hard of hearing. And we also have a coworker who is deaf. And so we've been able to communicate with him better, and it's been fantastic. So we actually are still learning, still practicing, and plan to continue on learning ASL. I highly recommend you do it. It's something that you can do at home with your family. Okay, how do you say Ethan? That's the next one. Okay, so for Ethan, we have E, T, H, A, N, Ethan. Okay, I see. How long have you worked at the St. Louis Zoo? So I've actually been in the education department at the zoo for 9 years, and I love being a teacher at the zoo. It's something really neat. It's one of those career paths I didn't know was a thing, because I get to teach school field trips, I get to teach specialty camp, we get to teach homeschool classes, we go to schools and we help with outreach and video conferencing. And we also bring animals from the children's zoo to our programs sometimes. So it's a really, really fun job, and I get to teach all ages. Okay, why do turtles have shells? That's a good question. So again, our sign for turtle. Turtles are going to have shells because that is a special adaptation they have to keep them safe. It's really hard, and believe it or not, it is a part of their body. They're born with it, and it grows with them as they get older. So a turtle or a tortoise cannot crawl out of their shell. Their backbone is attached to it, and it is part of their body. Now, some turtles are able to, and tortoises are able to kind of pull themselves in to protect themselves some more inside of their shell. That was a great question. What is my favorite animal at the zoo? My favorite animal at the zoo is a gorilla named Joe. We have 4 male gorillas. Joe is my favorite animal at the zoo. So I really miss being at the zoo and seeing him, but you can see him on the live webcam. In fact, today is the Gorilla Day on the webcam. So go to STLZOOm.org and check out our live webcams. Okay, so that is going to be it for today. Thank you so much for joining me. Please Zoom again with me next Wednesday at 10 as we finish our webinar series for ASL alphabet. We'll be reviewing everything, and then we'll be doing the remainder of the alphabet also. So thank you so much. Take care, everybody. Bye.